I'm going to show you guys and girls, aliens and robots, how I am setting up a new computer. So this is a, well, you can see this is an old one. If you look up here, you can see it's like a 8000 series CPU. What just happened there? There you go. But I thought this would be a good idea to see what do I do when I get a fresh install. As you can see, it's an oldish computer. It's a T490, and it's doing its whole updating thing right now. So, and it is a little tad slow when it's doing all these Windows up. And you can see here there's a lot of retry. What I do is this is the first boot. I waited till the graphic card drivers was installed, as I couldn't record via the Elgato capture card, so you guys can see what's going on. But all of this here, you may right now get super frustrated and angry and yell and scream and it's a Windows, it's the worst thing ever. Blah, 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 blah. No, it's how updates works. Like right now we're doing a cumulative update for 24H2. When you reboot, it will try and install them again. It may work, it may not work. When you reboot next time, they will start installing them again. It's sometimes the order matters, you know. Is this one here getting installed? This one here, is that getting installed? Or is it trying to install it before this one here and it should be turned around or something of that nature? That's all this is. It's just stupid way Windows do updates to some degree, and a lot of these is driver updates, and I will recommend you go and download Lenovo Vantage, which we are going to do when this here is done, and then update your drivers that way. Because it's a little bit more robust. But don't get discouraged and don't think your system is broken and blah blah blah, because a lot of these may even actually be downloaded and installed. You just need a reboot to actually know that they're downloaded and installed. I think you need is like Lenovo Vantage. You see it's already popping up there. If you go in here, and this is like the control center, what you will call it. It's like they're specifically made software for their laptops and whatnot, and it's super powerful. You can go in and set profiles. It's handle firmware updates. I don't want to open the store because that may get updated, so let's just download the file for now. There you go. Let's also install my favorite web browser. That's the Vivaldi browser here. Let's download that one. VLC, of course. Let's download that one. And here's a little fun tidbits. There you go. It's downloading. I even download this on work computers. If it's a laptop, I download VLC. It's my little rebellious kind of thing. You need the Synology assistant to. We don't need it. It's just a super convenient way of dealing with Synology NASs. And you don't have to find your specific specific NAS, because they use, if it's a NAS and you want the desktop utilities, you want Synology assistance. It don't matter if you pick the whatever OS version you pick, or like here, just pick NAS and you pick anything in here. Like we could take this one here, for example. And we go into desktop utilities. It still have these things you see here. The hyper backup. Anyway, anyone you want, it don't fucking matter. Because they're all using the same software. So let's download these things here. Boom, boom. And you may say, what about privacy and security and all these things? I don't mess around a lot in here. I may look at like, is there anything turned on? Nah, not really. And this is because I use a custom-made ISO for Windows that I made myself that has all of these things turned on by default. It also takes away the hardware requirements, so no TPM. You can install it on older CPUs and stuff like that. I've installed, with this ISO, I've installed Windows 11 on like 5 and 6 gen CPUs. But I will recommend that you, if you are so inclined and so have time for it, go in here and look at a lot of these things. But remember, you may take something off that you actually need. Anyone using this device can choose if their apps have access to diagnostic information of other apps. That is on. Let's take that off also. But this could actually have an impact, to be honest, on some of these backend services. Call history, a thing we can also... But I don't want to sit here and turn everything off here, but you get the idea. You can go in here and you can sit and take off anything you want. Just remember that if you turn off like microphone access and camera access, so if you turn this off here, your microphone don't work anymore. Like, if I turn this off here, I can't use my microphone at all. I have to go back in here. So what I do recommend and tell people to do if they're really, really like paranoid is that once a week, because you probably installed programs during the week, go in here and see what have access to your microphone and then take them off for the ones that you don't want. So on my main system, I have anything other than Discord and OBS and Streamlabs. Those are the only 3 things that have access to my microphone. However, if I'm installing this for I will not call it a client, but like someone that's, working in an office and stuff like that, I keep much of this default because I don't know if they're downloading Teams or if they're downloading a program where they expect a lot of things to be accessed. Like here, cell history. A lot of people have laptops with cellular connections, or they tether their phone to their computer because that's how, they do what Mac users do. They get text and stuff like on the screen here. In the good old notification manager in here. Thunderbolt Control Center just got installed. Oh yeah, that's because I have the Thunderbolt on it. They will get text messages up here in the notification area and stuff. And a lot of people use that, especially, salespeople, CEOs, CTOs, managers and stuff like that. You may not use it, but they use a lot of these things in here. And that's why they're turned on by default, by the way. It's because people actually fucking use it. Messaging, radios. But for you don't want any of that. A lot of people love this automatically backup kind of thing here. Because why you need to log into a Microsoft account, it periodically back up this computer here. So let's say in a year, I need to reinstall Windows or something get corrupted. I upgrade the hard drive. I think right now I have like a 2 terabyte installed or something like that. I also have inventory. But yeah, I have like a 2 terabyte installed. Let's say upgrade to 4 terabyte. Windows remember all the programs, all my settings and all these things. So when I log back into my account here, it asks me, do you want to restore from a previous backup? And you said yes. And it gives you shortcuts to all your programs and whatnot. And then you have to click on them and install it for you. And a lot of people really, really love that. Like, I mean, a lot of people love that. And you can see here we have a reboot. I've been talking long enough that we have a reboot. And it's this here. And a lot of these things here will disappear when we reboot. Let's reboot and look into it. I don't know how much of the reboot here is going to be shown. I hope all of it. But what Windows do now is it goes into a minimum state of operation. So it's only activating the absolute minimum it needs to have activated to run. Because it's the safest, it's the most stable way of doing updates. Linux recommend you do the same thing. SUSE, Red Hat, and Ubuntu, they actually recommend doing what they're calling here offline update. It's a more stable way of upgrading than doing live update, meaning that you're updating your software while you're using it. So now we're booting back into it here. And these updates and first boots here always take a long time with Windows until you get everything set up and it's downloaded everything it needs and blah, blah, blah. And we see here now a lot of them just disappeared. I was trying to re-download them again. So don't get too scared about these things. And it will ask us to reboot after a while, after this stuff going on here. When it's done this thing, I will then install the Vantage software, Vantage software, and we can see if there's any hardware updates or stuff like that. And then from now on, after your computer is set up for the first time, you should always update your hardware from the lenovo Vantage or the Asus, whatever control center, MSI, whatever your computer's control center is. That is coming from your laptop manufacturer. Because they tend to access their own repositories and not Microsoft repositories. That means they sometimes will have newer versions. And this is the joy of Windows. Restart, install, restart. This is probably this section here, like Windows updates. This is the longest part of installing Windows, especially if you are running a too outdated version of Windows. I actually need to update my ISO to include all of these new updates, because then it will be faster. But yeah, you're going... Yeah, we need to reboot again. You're going to do a lot of this shit. And I also tell people, like you see me doing here, I sit a lot on just waiting on updates. I did download some programs, but typically I make sure that all Windows updates are taken care of first. I don't start to install this program and that program for the reasons that I've been spending the last whatever, how many long minutes talking about corruption, stability, crosstalk, call it what you will. If I'm sure Windows is as up to date it can be, it don't need to do any shit more in the background. That means that when I'm installing whatever programs I need to install, it may need to install services, and they may need to, access Windows services in the background. They are accessing the Windows components in the backend that are at their newest, we got sound now, that are at their newest current version. And trust me, I've had a lot of issues where I have installed programs while Windows updates was going on, and it corrupted something in the program. I had to reinstall it. You see, it's faster. Oh, you can't see that because I'm cutting it out, but it was way faster to log in this time. And I will also show you how to get rid of these kind of, advertisement, or what we will call them. So if you just go in here and you go into personalization here, so we can go into dark theme, go into background. Let's just take this one here. You can see now that burn this bullshit is gone away. If you go on to the lock screen, where the fuck did they put that? It's probably in personalization, lock screen. You can see here, lock screen status, choose an app to show details in lock screen. So you can do like weather. I like that one, so we'll give you weather updates in the lock screen. This is the one you want to turn off. Windows Spotlight. If you're using Windows Spotlight, it will take like a wallpaper from Bing, and it will show you all these like, click here to get information and blah, 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 blah. Select a picture. Let's do that one. It's gone now, so if I log out, you can see it's gone. It's not there anymore. And these are the small things that a lot of people don't know about, sadly enough. Like, honestly, sadly enough. There are these like small little irritation that Windows put in by default. And I will download, I have my own wallpaper collection. I'm like a wallpaper fiend. I love downloading and saving wallpapers. So another thing I also like to do, you can see like I have like widgets here, and I have like the search bar here. So again, this is an ISO that I am physically using for professional use. Like, I'm giving this to professional people, this ISO here. Like, installing Windows like this here is what I do for professional people. And what I'm doing now, I used to do for them also, but they always complained about me doing it. So I will go in here and I will be removing the widget. You see, it's not down here anymore. A lot of people love that weather update that it gives you. Funny enough, they really, really love it. And here, with the search bar, a lot of people actually use this search bar. Like, a lot of people use it, I've noticed. And what I used to do is do this here. Just either this, or just hide it all together. But when I hit it, a lot of people got, where is it? And if I do this, they can't find it. Where's my search thingy-madooski? You fucked up my shit. So I either do this, or just keep it like that. A lot of things that you don't like, you're like, why are you not removing that? A lot of people use. The task view, I don't mind that. I don't, care that much about it. Just leave it on. Again, here, if you go in here and see, like, there's a lot of apps here. I used to remove this. I used to remove Solitaire. I used to remove Paint, LinkedIn, all of these things. And then, like, where's my LinkedIn? Why is my Paint not there? And this is not coming from your grandma. This is coming from CEOs, CTOs, COOs, customer support people, accounting people. You need your Spotify? Yeah, I use it to listen to Spotify while I'm working from home. Like, oh yeah, that actually kind of makes sense. Why do you need LinkedIn? That's how I keep track of my competitors and what other people, or if I'm looking for like a new employee and stuff like that. Oh, that kind of makes sense. But you and I may not need LinkedIn. So let's uninstall that bullshit. The same with Teams. I used to uninstall Teams. Like, everyone's like, where's my Teams? I use it all the fucking time. So just because you don't use it, don't mean that a lot of people also are not using it. But like I said, like, this ISO here, the way you, like, this install you see for you right now, is the version of Windows where I get the least amount of people coming back to me and say, can you where is this? Why don't I have access to that anymore? Have Windows removed X, Y, and Z? You get what I'm coming at here. Another thing I really, really like to customize also, and this is just for my personal taste, again, I don't do that for anyone else than me, for myself, is the start menu here. So you can see here, default, more recommendation, more pins, I like more pins. Show recently used apps, nope. Show recommended files and start recently files, explore, jump to list, nope. Show recommendations for tips, shortcuts, new apps, nope. Show account related notification when off, required notifications are still shown. I just turn all this off. I don't need all this, like... this is how it looks like. It's not my favorite Windows menu ever. It does the job. Also, I think I'll just unpin this one. Because I do like my solitaire once in a while if I have to kill like 5 or 6 minutes. The same with Copilot. I used to remove that. Until I got quite a few people be like, can Windows remove Copilot from Windows? Why can't I access Copilot anymore? And I'm like, oh, well, that probably means I have to enable Copilot. The same with OneDrive. A lot of people are like, where's OneDrive? I can't get access to my OneDrive. I'm like, oh, well, apparently a lot of people use OneDrive. If you go into the security thingy here. I normally don't do much in here. I may... Where is it? Yeah, so I may mess around with smart app control and reputation-based stuff in here. I recommend, if you don't know exactly what you're doing in here, just leave everything by default. Because it actually will make you... this one here, I've turned off because we do a lot of in-house app development, and it will trigger this if you don't sign them. This one here is a good thing to have on. But like I said, in here, like, you can really, really easily, by mistake, make yourself super unsecure by one tick of a checkbox. And then kind of the last thing I always do is go into Microsoft Store, download Xbox, no, not Xbox, go into downloads and then check for downloads. Well, actually, that's not the last thing I do. That is go into PowerShell and get that downloaded. I clicked you, my friend. There you go. And I will show you why I do this. And I do this on all computers because it makes it so much easier for you to troubleshoot. I'm not going to show you everything I use PowerShell for, but it's basically, think about Bash for Windows. It's as powerful as Bash or C Shell or Fish or ZSH, whatever they're called, or whatever shell thingy Maduski you're using either Mac or Linux. PowerShell do the same. So I typically, again for myself, I will pin this. Then I will go in here and I'll go into settings. And I will say don't use Windows PowerShell, use normal PowerShell. Save when it starts up. And PowerShell is like a super powerful automation and scripting tool. It's like, again, it's a whole programming language in itself also. But what I then do is I basically install Winget. So just to update, it will auto-install it. And this is basically just Windows Software Manager in the backend. So it asks me to install, I'll have to click yes, there you go. And there's 2 updates available. There's App Installer and Windows Terminal. So what you do here is you can open it in admin mode if you want that, like super user mode. You can actually enable sudo if you want to. Or you do winget update -- all. And I recommend running this like once a week, because it will install all the programs that it can, just like if you're using apt or yast or zipper or cypher or DNF or Pacman or what all the package managers for Linux are called. This is Windows equivalent of that. So instead of you having to open the program and have it auto download, the update, it will even update OBS. It will update, if you don't have it open, it will update some of your web browsers. Most web browsers, it will update the Discord if you don't have it open. If your Discord is open, it errors out. Then you have to update it from within Discord. But I do this every Monday I get to work. This is like my Monday routine. I do this, winget update, that's all. You see here there was a failure because the terminal was updating. So every Monday after, really short weekend, too short weekend. I do this, winget update all, there's nothing to update. I open up our little good old store, I update from in there, and then I check if there's any Windows updates. From in here, you can also install, you can also search. I can't remember if you need an asterisk, but you know, anything has to do with Visual that has the name Visual in it, and you can install from in here. This takes care of my IntelliJ, Visual Studio Code, .NET versions, Java versions. All of this gets updated from within here. See here. Visual Studio Community, Visual Code Editor. There's so many things in here, and it's a really fast and neat. There's Git Cola. Oh yeah, it also updates Git, and this set takes care of 90% of all the updates you need, if not 95 to 99% of them. There's something from JetBrains here. If you want to see a video about winget and what it actually can do for you and why any professional should use it, even if you are a serious hobbyist, you should use winget. It's so nice that it keeps your software updated without you have to open it up and do this self-check and stuff like that. And then of course you can do so much crazy fucking bullshit administrative-wise with PowerShell. And then if we go in here to downloads and we install Vantage, where is it? Here it is. I can show you that as the last thing here. And now we're waiting on that. I can give you a little bit of this is another thing you probably should do when you're done with everything. Open up Disk Cleaner, because there will probably be a lot of fucking things you need to remove when you're done here, like old updates and whatnot. But I will not do it until, you know, you're done with the Windows update here. So if let's say we enable everything, again, don't run this until you're done with all your Windows updates. Here, delivery optimization files. There's like almost 4 gigabytes here. And we are downloading more because this is it's part of the Windows updates kind of cycle. But yeah, when everything is done, run this one here. But you guys could probably see that. Oh, yep. So here, I don't want you to start. I've accepted it. So this is why I like using this. I didn't want to show you the homepage because it basically gives you the serial number and stuff like that of my machine here. But you know, you can go in here, you can do a manual scan, you can test your hardware, you can do screenshots, history and stuff like that. We also have device settings. So you can look at the health of your battery. I'm on almost 390 cycles. I have 90% capacity. You know, like, again, this is a laptop from 2019 or 18. This is actually kind of good. I got this like for $184. And that is with 25% sales tax on it. Yeah, it's a bargain. It's like really good. Like it's in like premium condition. Like when you look like from the, you know, there's no scratches, there's no dents in it. It's just perfect on the outside. But yeah, you can go in here and you can do all kind of crazy shit in here. And you have more control in a lot of these like specific vendor softwares than you would have in Windows itself. There's one thing I kind of want to touch upon, and again, tell me if you want a video about this. 95 or 99% of all the stuff you do on a GUI tool, Windows, Mac, or Linux, you can do in the terminal. If you are running a laptop, especially a laptop, I will highly recommend downloading the vendor-specific software suite that helps you administrate said computer. So Asus have their own version of this, Dell have their own version of this, Acer, HP, MSI, Gigabyte. Use those because they will help you a lot with the with the driver updates, because they may tap in. You see it's working, but it will tap into a repository that will, in a lot of instances, have newer drivers than what Windows presents to you with. I normally will not do this while there's a Windows update, but just for the sake of making a point or whatever you will call it, always use these tools to update your hardware after your first initial setup. From now on, this is like the first boot after a reinstall. From now on, if Windows Update says there is a driver update, I will go in here and I will do what I'm doing right now, and then I will update it and see if Windows still tells me there's a driver update. because you will get newer updates from in here than you will from Windows most of the time. And this is again Gigabyte, MSI, Asus, Lenovo. They all have these equivalent tools. They also have it if you're like using their motherboards for in a lot of instances. And again, I can highly recommend using those tools. So I have like an Asus motherboard, so I think it's like Armor Crate or something like that. I always get way more driver updates, firmware updates that way than I ever get on Windows. For every one I get from Windows updates, I get 10 in Armor Crate. We may be lucky now that Windows actually download the latest drivers. Actually, it did not. Look. There's already a chipset update, there's a graphic card update, there's a hotkey update that is newer than the one Windows downloaded. But if we go back into Windows updates, you can see there's nothing. It's just downloading the latest feature updates, etc, etc, etc. So this is why it's so important that you run these tools, especially for your motherboard, because these will, if you, like I said, Armor Crate on Windows, or not on Windows, on my desktop takes care of BIOS updates, it takes care of network updates, sound card updates, bus updates, RAM compatibility updates. All of these things is being done from in here, this little amazing tool that you see in here. Windows don't really do that. They just give you the bare minimum so it's stable enough. That's it. So you can, again, help yourself make it way more stable by using these tools here. I hope this kind of gave you an idea of what I'm doing. My recommendation of how to set up and it don't have to be it can be a desktop, it can be a laptop, it can be whatever, but these are the things that I do, and I have almost nobody coming and asking me for more stuff. If they need extra stuff, they must do it themselves. So if there's things that they need I don't give them, they must install it on their own. I rarely have people coming back to me and say, where is that? Why don't I have this? Why have you fucked around with this? Why is this not working anymore? See you later. Bye bye.